What's up, guys? Hope everybody's doing okay, having a great Thanksgiving. I had a few minutes here waiting to go out. Thought I would review yesterday's session and caught one a little earlier in the day, and wanted to review the second trade that a bunch of us took together towards the end of the day, and why I got out and why I got in. So the early setup, it was a couple of my levels here. 600 was a support level. Of course, like 601 because that was previous highs up in that area. So pre-market highs, I marked 690, something like that, right at 601. But again, the way of trading that Josh is teaching, that I'm trying to also incorporate, is marking your first 3 5-minute candles, and just to show you how on Webull, which is what I use. Let's say you get your first 3 candles here, here, and here. We're going to take to the drawings tab, come over to your trend lines, this one here, and I mark a horizontal line. I mark it on the candle close, and I like brightening it up. I'll go to yellow, and this one here makes your line a little thicker so you can see it easier. Okay, you can choose whatever color, it doesn't matter. Now the second line to make is right here, this red line. Oh, never mind, that's my 200. So we're going to come back up here and hit this again. Make a second line here. We'll call this one red. Again, make it a little thicker. Okay, so between here and about right here is what we call morning structure. Your first 3 5-minute candles. They can whip a lot, fake out, fake out, fake out. So we try to wait the first 15 minutes to establish some direction and see what the market's going to do. Now, this gold line here that's running, this is VWAP. You come to your indicators. I turn VWAP on. You can add it by going to your indicators and scrolling down till you find it, VWAP, right here. Okay. And you can alter the settings a little bit. You can make your line thicker. I like making it a little bit thicker, and then you can change the color however you want it. Totally preference. My second line, the green line, is the 9 EMA. It's already loaded on mine, but again, same thing. You can go to indicators, come to EMA, check it, and you go to indicator settings. Okay, go up here and highlight EMA, and these are all the ones you can have. You can adjust the EMA that you want, 9s, 10s, 20s, whatever you want. I just run the 9 and the 200 for day trading. That's what I do. Come to your style, and then you click which one you want after you've set the input. So the only two I've got checked are the 9 and the 200. You can change the colors how you want, but I use green and red. And then you can adjust the line thickness also. You can also make it a dotted line, broken line, or whatever you like. But this is how mine's set up. And then this other red line crossing here, this is the 200 EMA. So those are the 3 that I use. And then we make our first 3 candles our morning market structure. So this yellow one and this red one are our morning market structure. That's what we're going to trade off of. Now, this is not foolproof. This is not 100%, but if you follow this daily and make a routine out of it and make your set your stop losses correctly, you're going to win more than you're going to lose. Risk to reward, risk to reward, guys. So if you're willing to risk 20, you should be aiming to make 40. To at least 2 to 1 is what you're aiming for. Not saying you always get that, but that you should be aiming that way. So after these first 3, we have to wait on some confirmation. The confirmation things that I use is the MACD. This I'm gonna come up here and turn it off and on once so you'll see it. Let's turn it on. You also go under indicators to add that. I've got RSI up here also, just shows buying pressure some and selling pressure. So once your MACD sort of points the way, the later in the day we switch to higher time frames and we watch that. And as you can see, there's not as many fake outs. Initially, from the beginning of the day on the 15, this MACD crossed the signal line. Let me just blow it up a little bit for you. See, we wait on these crosses. It's kind of how I use it for signals, amongst a few other things. I want at least 2 or 3 things working in confluence before I want to jump in a trade. So this MACD was pointing down. Make the chart a little bigger. On the 5 minute, go back to the 5. Okay. MACD pointing down on the 5 also. It's a little bit of a bumpy ride these first 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Sometimes it's not so clear. I like to get breaking this structure here that we've got established. And then we got to get under VWAP. Under VWAP is bearish. Over VWAP is bullish. So once we started getting these candles to close under VWAP, we were also starting to get direction under our market structure. Now, under our market structure, we broke $600.23. Now, I had on Wednesday, I had established 600 was a pretty good support. That ended up being also on these wicks. You don't have to draw that, but I wanted 600 as such a psych level too. I wanted to break that, and it took 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, almost 45 minutes. So it ain't so easy sitting there watching it for 45 minutes. I know it ain't, especially on options. So we waited for confirmation. That's what we should have been doing. Under VWAP, I used the green one, which is my 9 EMA, as a trend indicator. As long as I'm remaining under it, then I'm going to stay in the trade. If it starts breaking over it, then I'm going to get out. Or if I'm happy with my gains, I'm going to get out. I'm not waiting on big reversals like this big green candle here, this big fake out candle. That said to me, we might be getting a reversal here because this MACD started curling up right here. Well, then we start going to higher time frames at that point to look at our confirmations. And if you see on the higher time frames, this candle wicked down really hard and would have kept you in the trade because this MACD pointed downward. It's pointing down, so pressure is still down. Okay. And then we're also under VWAP, under the 9 EMA for me. I like the 9 EMA on the 5 minute chart. So I switch back and forth and back and forth. And then when I get real antsy and looking for direction, I want to go to higher time frames like the 1 hour. And if we blow it up here on the 1 hour, from opening, we started pointing downward, 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 till we come to the 0 line, to the middle point here on the MACD, and it looks like we're bouncing up. Starting to. After hours started bouncing. Okay, so let's go back to the 5 again. And we're going to look and see what kept us in this trade. What should have kept us in this trade. Now, first 3 5-minute candles, we've got our 2 lines marked. And we got to be patient and wait. Now, you can do early entries. Early entries means more risk. So, once you got these closes under VWAP, under the 9, you could have entered early, but you had the chance, like this wick here, could have stopped you out if you had your stop loss set. So when you make your buys, and especially if you make your buys early, you want to buy when it's touching these, like touching VWAP, touching the 9. You say, well, we got down pressure, but I don't want to buy a put option down here at the bottom of this red candle, because this green candle takes you back up a half point on an option. That's going to knock you out unless you got a really loose stop. So if you're making your buys early to get in for this, you need to be buying up here towards the trend lines, towards VWAP, towards the trend line. That's where your purchase comes in. So it's a really good idea to have your options loaded on one screen and your chart loaded on another. Even if it's, on your phone, you make your orders and you got a tablet or PC that you can watch the chart. And this is another reason somebody asked me why I only trade the SPY. Well, because I'm day trading. I don't want to have my focus all over the place. I try to just limit myself to one thing. Okay. So once we broke this established line, really, if you go off of Josh's method, only the bodies on the first 3 5-minute candles. Once you broke this candle here, still would have scared me out a little bit because this wicked up. This candle finally closed, even though it was kind of a doji. Well, not really a doji, but there wasn't a lot of body to this candle. So you could have entered here because you were breaking under this trend line that we established underneath our market structure. And we're under VWAP, and we're under the 9. And MACD is pointing downward. These 2 signal lines down, down, down. Excuse me. So that was a good trade down to, I got out around $5.99, I think. I got in it. I got kicked out once or twice up here trying to trade this. And it happens. So if you're confident and you got your confluence with your MACD and you're saying, well, I'm under market structure, well, you got to trust that and set your stop loss. If you get kicked, you get kicked. If you're confident in it, you re-enter. Now, this move was a great move. This was a great move. And really the candle to get out on it was this super strong candle down, 598.70. Now, if you'll go back and look, the reason I got out on 599 was because of this structure from the previous day. 599 was holding here, and it held pretty close to holding right here. So I said, that's probably going to be decent support. Turned out, it did go under, but it came right back up and stopped on top of it. So there was some support here, but we chewed through it, and it started getting choppy through here. Chop, chop, chop. I don't want to trade chop with options. I don't want to trade it. I like trading trend. If you're trading chop, you're probably going to lose. Okay. Now let's go to later in the day. And the reason I got back in to calls And this isn't the best idea always, but when you're looking for reversals, I am still looking at higher time frames. Let's go to the 1 hour. Well, this 1 hour wouldn't have put me into this trade until I sort of saw it flattening and out down here on this MACD. And I go to the 30 minute. Now the 30 minute, when it came down, and we got this big wick, this big candle wick was a message to me, hey, buyers are stepping in. It ate that, the buyers ate that up. Let's do a 15. Even though this candle was red on the 15, buyers stepped in right here at 597.50 because the way this candle looked. So that caught my eye. So now I start reversing my psychology and looking at smaller time frames because I want a reversal. I still look at bigger ones, but I also start looking at 5s because it's got to cross first before the 10 can cross. So once this crossed right here, even though we're under the middle point of the MACD, which is bearish, this line crossed, pointing for some upward direction. My entry was over this 9 EMA. See, we followed it all the way down. We got this candle popped off of it, and we crossed back above the 9. And we got a crossover of the 5. Now, the 5's not super great confluence, but it's where it has to start, you know. It's going to start on a 2 and a 3 when you're looking at reversals. So I said, hey, you know, the 3 MACD did cross up. Look what follows. The 5 crossed up. Okay. Let's look again. The 10 then followed and crossed up. And it gave me a little confidence to say, you know, there's a little upside here. So this wasn't a huge trade, but it was a scalp trade. I think I got almost 20% on it. A bunch of people hopped on the live and we went in it together. So I got in around here. And I took a Monday expiration, I think Friday. Now, we ran it from here all the way up to VWAP. So what made me get out of this trade? Well, volume wasn't really coming in. We couldn't cross above VWAP for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 candles rejected off of VWAP. So that told me, let's look at the 15 also. See, 1, 2, 3. You got 3 15-minute candles. Could not cross above VWAP. Come up, touch, touch, touch. So it was a rejection area. And I thought, you know, I'm up 20%. Going into holiday weekend. Friday's only a half day. I don't want to hold this. Even though technically now we would be up, but we would have to be waiting until tomorrow morning and see if we continue up. So I thought it good to take profits there. If you held, you know, best of luck to you. I hope it continues up. But I'm happy with 15, 20% at a time, especially like when you start taking more contracts, you get more confident. You can start trading 5 contracts or, you know, whatever your risk management is. But please be patient. Only trade 1 contract for a while. No more than 2 if you're really new, beginning. 2's not a bad idea because if you're confident in the trade, you could take profits early and then let 1 run. It's not a bad idea. But VWAP was the reason I got out. We did cross back above this line I had for some support and resistance. And we held the 9 EMA. And once we started breaking it, I got out. And that's why I got out. So hope that explains a little bit of that trade, why we took that trade, and if that helps you, I appreciate it. Hit hit the old like button. If you are on the Discord and want to support me a little bit, like if you want to upgrade your tier, you can use my referral link. It helps me a little bit. I'm not going to lie to you. If you want to go like the VIP, if you use my referral link, it'll kick in and help me a little bit. Other than that, I don't get paid anything for being in the Discord or helping. I just do it. Josh asked me to, and I'm happy to help because I know what it's like not having any help or nobody to show you anything. And I'm no millionaire or an amazing trader, but I've started learning the charts pretty decent, and I have some experience, so it helps having somebody to guide you along and trade with. That's why I try to trade live a couple of days a week with everybody as much as I can because I work too. I got a full-time job. So, anyways, that was 2 good trade setups yesterday. Pretty good trade setups. I don't want to be in this kind of action with options. You could have maybe caught a scalp put from up here, but really, towards the end of the day, guys, 0 DTE options are losing their value really fast after 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock. I don't use them anymore unless the only way I'm going to use it at that point is if I'm catching momentum really good and I'm just going to hold this contract for a few minutes. But if you take one and it don't start going your way immediately, time decay kills your option. So you need to start going out one day on your expiration date. And it may not move as fast. Percentages are not going to be as good at the time, but it's way less volatile and will help you not be shook out of a trade so easily and get stopped out. If you guys got a question, tag me in the Discord or leave a comment. I'm happy to I've chatted with a few people, done a video chat or two, and if I can help you set a chart up or something, let me know. But the first little bit, I showed you what my indicators are and how I use them, and we'll keep going over it and over it. I think the main thing to day trading some is having a plan. You must have a plan and a strategy to use, okay? So let's work on this strategy that I showed you here. We'll do it again. Thanks, guys.